Hi everyone, welcome to our channel Helm of Science. So in my previous video I was discussing the chapter light with you guys. So in my previous videos I had covered many topics like the laws of reflection, the characteristics of images which are found by a plane mirror, why we need spherical mirrors in our daily life, and the two types of spherical mirrors. So if I give you a small recap of that, so I had discussed that spherical mirrors are a part of a hollow sphere, and there are two types of spherical mirrors. One is a concave mirror and the other one is a convex mirror. So a concave mirror is nothing but a spherical mirror where the polished surface is towards the outside. The polished surface is towards the outside, and if I told you that it is a part of a hollow sphere, and if it is this is the center of the hollow sphere containing the concave mirror, then the reflecting surface is towards the inside, that is towards the center of the hollow sphere. So this is a concave mirror, and the other one is a convex mirror. So for convex mirrors, if the center of the hollow sphere is there, this point, so the reflecting surface will be the polished surface will be towards the center, and the reflecting surface will be towards the outside of the center of the hollow sphere. So this is a convex mirror, right? So today in this video I will be discussing about few terms which are related with the spherical mirrors. So if I consider a concave mirror, now I told you the concave mirror is a part of a hollow sphere. So if I draw a sphere, okay, and this is the concave mirror we are talking about, okay, this is the concave mirror. So this is a part of the hollow sphere, which is this one. So a hollow sphere must be containing a center, right? So let's say this is the center. If we remove this and draw just the mirror part, this is, we are checking for concave mirrors, all right. So the reflecting surface is towards the inside, and the polished surface is towards the outside, okay. So this said this is the center of the hollow sphere. So this center is also known as the center of curvature. So C refers to center of curvature of the concave mirror, okay. So this is known as the center of curvature of the concave mirror. Now the distance between the center and any point on the surface of the mirror, what should it be? Like if this is a sphere, this is the center, so this distance between any point the distance between any point and the center should be the radius of the sphere, right? So similarly, so the distance between the center of curvature and any point on the mirror or the concave lens is known as the radius of curvature. The radius of curvature. This is denoted by R. So R is the radius of the mirror. Radius, okay. Now, so what is the area of the reflecting surface? So the area of this reflecting surface is nothing but this area, right? This will be the area of the reflecting surface, like the area of contact of the incident ray with the mirror. So this will be the area. This area is known as the aperture, okay. So this area is known as the aperture, and the midway of the aperture is known as the middle point. is known as the pole. This is known as the pole. Let's say this is the middle point, so this point is known as pole. P refers to pole. This is known as the pole of the concave lens. Okay, the midpoint of the aperture. Okay, so if I join this center of curvature with this pole, if I join these 2 points, this point is known as principal axis. Principal axis is nothing but an imaginary line joining the center of curvature C and the pole of the concave lens or the mirror. This is known as the imaginary line joining the center of curvature and the pole. That line is known as the principal axis. Okay, so the distance between this C and this P will also be the radius of curvature, right? So any point on the sphere and the distance between any point on the lens and the center of curvature is known as the radius. So this distance will also be r. Okay, now if I remove this thing, so these are few terminologies which are very important and you have to keep this in mind. Okay, now if I remove these things, so center of curvature C, so the center of curvature is nothing but the center of the hollow sphere of which the mirror was a part of. Okay, so it is the center of the hollow sphere, and I have discussed that pole is nothing but the midpoint of the area of aperture, like the midpoint of the aperture of the mirror. Right, now I had discussed that the principal axis is a imaginary line joining the center of curvature and the pole. Now if I draw it again, this is the polished surface, this is the center of curvature, this is the pole, and this is the principal axis joining the pole and the center of curvature, right? Now if you consider like if we consider that there is a incident ray which is parallel to the principal axis, the incident ray should be parallel to the principal axis. Okay, if it is incident on the concave mirror in such a way that it is parallel. Okay, now we know from the laws of reflection that the angle of incidence should also be equal to the angle of reflection. Now we used to calculate the angle of incidence by calculating the angle between the normal and the incident ray, but here this surface is curved, so how is it possible to draw a normal? This is the first question which should come into mind. Now let me first remove this thing. Okay, so in case of the plane mirrors, I had discussed that, let's say this is the plane mirror, this is the polished surface, and the ray is incident in such a way. Okay, so this is incident at this point P, so we could draw the normal in case of a plane mirror, as a normal is a line which is perpendicular, right? So we can easily draw the normal for this line, and this is the angle of incidence, so the angle of reflection will also be equal to the angle of incidence. But in case of a curved surface, how can we draw the normal? This should be the first question which comes into mind. Okay, so let's take a hollow sphere. Okay, let's take a sphere. Now if we this is the center, let's say this is the center. Okay, now if we want to find draw the normal at any random point, let's say we are finding the normal at this point. Okay, now for finding the normal to this point, the rule is to draw a tangent at this point. Okay, so let's say this is the point P. If we draw a tangent is a line which grazes a point. Okay, so this is the tangent. We have drawn the tangent. Now considering this tangent, now we have to draw the normal. So if I draw the normal now, considering this tangent, it will meet at the center of curvature. Okay, so let's take another random point. Okay, so let's take this point Q. Okay, similarly, to draw a normal at point Q, we need to first draw the tangent to this point where it only touches at this point. Okay, so now it is again easy to draw the normal based on this tangent, because it's a straight line, it should be a straight line. So this is, sorry if I this will be again a line which is coinciding with the center of curvature. Okay, if we take another example, let's say point R over here. So if we draw the tangent again over here and draw the perpendicular normal, see, whenever we want to draw a tangent at any random point on the surface of a sphere, the normal will always cross or coincide with the center of curvature of the sphere. Okay, this is a rule, and this always happens. This is the theory behind it. So if I draw the concave mirror again, this is the polished surface. Okay, so this is the center of curvature, this is the pole, this is the principal axis joining the center of curvature and the pole. Okay, so now incident ray which is parallel to the principal axis. Okay, now this is incident at this point on the concave mirror. Okay, so now I discussed that the normal to this point will be penetrating this center of curvature, right? So the normal will be going through the center of curvature, right? So now we got the normal, right? Let's say the angle of incidence, first we need to give arrows. So let's say the angle of incidence is I. Okay, so the angle of reflection based on the laws of reflection should also be I, right? So now this will be reflected with an angle I. Okay, 1 second. This will be reflected. Okay, so this angle will also be I. Okay, so this point where the reflected ray, this is the reflected ray, this is the incident ray. Okay, so this point where the reflected ray passes through the principal axis, this point is known as the focus or the principal focus, denoted by the letter F. The point where the reflected ray, we can frame it like this way, like the point where the incident ray after reflection from the mirror passes through the principal axis, that point is known as the focus or the principal focus. Okay, is it clear? So focus is the point through which the incident ray after reflection passes through the principal axis. The point through which the incident ray after reflection passes through the principal axis, that point is known as the principal focus. Now it is seen that whenever the incident ray is parallel to the the incident ray is parallel to the principal axis, the focus will always be radius by 2. That is, when the incident ray is parallel to the principal axis, the focal length will always be the half of the radius. The radius will be this distance, right? C, the distance between C and P, right? This is the radius of curvature of the lens or the mirror, and this focus will be half of the radius. The focal length will be half of the radius. Okay, so this relation you need to keep in mind. This is very important for your exams, and this has been proved that it is half of the radius of the curvature. Okay, now we will move on to few scenarios. Now before I move on, like if I discuss it the same for convex mirror, we will get like something like this. Okay. Convex mirrors. Now convex mirror, the polished surface is towards the center of the hollow sphere, right? So this is something like this. I'll draw it. One second. Okay, this is the polished surface, and somewhere lies the center of the hollow sphere, which is also known as the center of curvature of the convex lens, right? See, the incident ray will be, this is the reflecting surface, right? So the pole will be somewhere around this. Okay, pole is the midway between the middle point of the aperture. What is the aperture? This is the area of the reflecting surface of the mirror. So for this mirror, what will be the area of the reflecting surface? This is nothing but this area, right? This will be the area of the reflecting surface. So midpoint between that is this point. Okay, so this is the pole of the mirror. Now the imaginary line joining the C and the point C and the P is known as the principal axis, right? So the incident ray will be from this direction, right? So if we consider that the incident ray is parallel to the principal axis, this is the distance is known as the R, or the radius of curvature. Okay, so it is incident over here. Okay, now if we draw the normal again, the normal will be normal at this point will be coinciding with the center of curvature of the sphere as discussed, right? So if I draw the normal, sorry, if we extend it in this direction, so normal will be this one. So incident, let's say the angle of incidence is I, so it will always be reflected back with the same angle based on the angle laws of reflection, right? So it will be reflected back. Okay, with the same angle. Okay, the angle of reflection will also be I. So in case of convex mirrors, you can see that the ray is diverging, so we have to extend that ray backwards, if we extend that rays backwards, okay, it will coincide somewhere around here. Okay, sorry, I did a mistake, I guess. Yeah, so it will coincide somewhere around here. Okay, so you can see that this is known as the focus, we know, where the incident ray is parallel to the principal axis. The point through which it cuts the principal axis is known as the focus. Or okay, so you can see here that the focus for convex mirrors will always be virtual, right? These focus for convex mirror is always virtual. It appears to us as if the image is formed behind the mirror, right? So it is virtual, right? So when we extend this reflected ray backwards, we get the focus for convex mirrors. So these terms you need to remember. And moving on, we will discuss some scenarios relating to this convex and concave mirrors. Okay, now I'll consider concave mirrors for this. So if I draw the concave mirror, this is the reflecting surface. Okay, now this is the center of curvature, this is the pole, and this is the line joining it is known as the principal axis. Okay, this distance is known as the radius of curvature. Now the first scenario we have already discussed is that if the incident ray is parallel to the principal axis, the ray after reflection will pass through a point which is known as the focus, and the focus will be always half of the radius, right? This scenario I have already discussed. Now if we invert the if we consider the inverse of this scenario, let's consider this is scenario 2. Okay, again I draw the mirror, this is the reflecting surface. Okay, center of curvature, pole, principal axis. Okay, this is the focus. Now if we consider the reverse of the scenario in the first condition, let's say the incident ray is not parallel to the principal axis, rather it is passing through focus. Okay, if I consider this case where the incident ray is passing through focus, this is the incident ray, and this is passing through focus. This is the exact opposite of the scenario 1. Okay, so in such a case it is seen that the incident ray passing through the focus after reflection on the mirror, concave mirror, will pass parallel to after reflection will pass parallel. Okay, after reflection the reflected ray will be parallel to the principal axis. Now if I draw the normal in such a way that it coincides with the center of curvature, this is the incidence angle I, angle of incident I, so the reflected angle will also be I. Okay, so in this second condition, when the incident ray directly passes through focus, the reflected ray will be parallel to principal axis. Okay, so this is the exact opposite scenario to the previous case. Okay, so let's consider a third scenario. Okay, so the third scenario says that this is the reflected side of the mirror, center of curvature, pole. This is the principal axis. Okay, now in this case what we considered is that, let's say this is the focus. Okay, this is the focus, this point is the focus. Now in this case we consider that instead like previously what we did is that the incident ray was parallel to the principal axis, and in the second scenario it went through the focus, right? But in this case we consider that the incident ray passes through the center of curvature. Now if the incident ray directly passes through the center of curvature, okay, this is in this scenario the incident ray is directly passing through the center of curvature. This is scenario number 3. Incident ray passes through center of curvature. Okay, what happens is that let's draw over here. Okay, we know, let's see that, let's take that this is the point of contact of the incident ray. Okay, yeah, so this is the point of contact. So at this point of contact, if we draw the normal, we know that normal at any point on the spherical surface it will be passing through it is a line which pass through the center of curvature. So the normal will also be along the incident ray only, right? So the normal is along the incident ray, so the angle of incidence will be 0 degree, right? So you getting right, the normal will be along the incident ray, so the angle of incidence is 0 degree. So in this case we know from the laws of reflection that when the angle of incidence is 0 degree, or when the incident ray is along the normal, the angle of reflection will also be 0 degree, and the incident ray will retrace back its own path. So the reflected ray will also pass through the center of curvature and retrace back its own path. Okay, so in this scenario the reflected ray, the incident ray on reflection from the mirror returns back along its own path, traveling through the center of curvature C. Okay, so these are 3 scenarios which you need to keep in mind while drawing the ray diagrams, which I will discuss in my further videos. So in my next video I will be discussing various scenarios where we keep the object at different places on the principal axis and check what will be the characteristics of images which are formed. So if you like this video and find this video useful, please subscribe to our channel. So see you in the next video.